Meet the newest member of the 10 team.
Well, I'm new, but I'm no rookie.
What are your stats?
Former Dolphin, game show host, radio host, network correspondent, network anchor.
Impressive. What's your next move?
I'm not going anywhere. This is home.
Jimmy joins the 10 team.
Just a little welcome aboard gift, Jimmy.
What is it?
Just what you always wanted. Autographed picture of Shula.
The one and only 10 team. Only on Eyewitness News.
Guns and violence on board a Dade school bus. More after the game.
Welcome to Don Shula's All-Star Cafe. I'm Jimmy Cefalo, along with the coach. Coach, it's been a long week off for you after the game against the Jets. Does a week like this help a team or hurt it?
Well, we're going to find out in about a week. Yeah. That's the one thing that we know for sure. But the off week, when you're coming off of a win, you can get through it a lot better. But this was a tough week for us, and we had to do a lot of soul searching, realizing that we didn't play well against the Jets and that we got a lot of work to do. So last week we just had a couple of tough days, and then I gave the players off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We came back today and had a good practice this afternoon. John Offerdahl still didn't work in the practice. Keith Jackson did not work in the practice. But we think that they're going to be ready to go on game time against Buffalo. The thing that we have to do is realize that there's only 3 undefeated teams, and there might only be 2 after tonight in the AFC. So although we're not happy with 1-1, the important thing is to get our football team back and get to playing the kind of football that we think that we're capable of playing. We didn't against the Jets. We've got to beat Buffalo at Buffalo.
Yeah. Is Buffalo a different team than they were a year ago, Coach, or is this basically the same across the board?
Well, they've lost some people because of free agency. They've picked up a few people, but basically it's the same football team. It's a no huddle. It's Kelly running the offense. It's the 2 superstars on defense, Bruce Smith and Cornelius Bennett, and they're just an outstanding football team. Jimmy, I'm going to talk in the Chalk Talk coming up a little bit about a play that we had trouble stopping in our last ball game, the AFC Championship game, the game that would have put us in the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And that is the topic of our Sports Authority Chalk Talk. A couple of plays that really gave you some trouble, huh, Coach?
Right. This is the one to Thurman Thomas for the touchdown, a 17 yards and a touchdown. And it's just a little shovel pass. The pass isn't 5 yards. You can see it right there. He hits Thurman Thomas. They got linemen going down the field. We're trying to get to the quarterback, but they've got the linemen. They complete the pass to Thurman Thomas. They got the lineman out in front of it, and they make the key blocks. And, of course, Thomas is a master at weaving his way in an open field and getting into the end zone. He's done that many, many times against us, and that was a 17-yard touchdown. Here's a version of the same play. They put a man in motion, and they get our secondary to revolve. You can see the secondary revolving. And, again, we're going upfield. This time Davis adjusts and catches the ball more over the middle of the field. And, again, he just has blockers out in front of him, and he has this great speed to run past some of our defensive players and picks up about 30 yards on this play. So all told, they ran this type of a play against us in the AFC Championship game a total of 6 times for 90 yards. And it was a game also where we had trouble running with the football. They ran with it 48 times. We ran with it 11 times. So they dominated that way. That's something that we can't let them do to us if we expect to win a football game.
As you look at this football game coming up, take us into the mind of the coaches. Do you look at this piece of tape and say, yes, this is probably what they're going to try to do to us again?
Well, you got to give them credit for realizing that they know that we have to work hard to stop that play. So I'm sure that they're going to have that play and test us with it to see whether or not we've adjusted to it. But by the same token, they're not going to predicate their game plan on beating us with that same kind of a play. So we have to be aware of that and also know that they've got a lot of other things, and they'll spring something new. There's always something new every ball game from the Buffalo offense.
Funny part about this is it's really a chess game for the coaches in the NFL. We'll come back. We're going to meet some of the coaches of the NFL. The coaches brought by some of the best right after this.
The Don Shula Show is brought to you by the Sports Authority. You've never seen anything quite like it. And by American Airlines, something special in the air.
From the cobblestone streets of Costa Rica to the business centers of Brazil, American Airlines is opening doors all over Latin America. For business or pleasure, the best way to 22 cities in Latin America is right through this door. American Airlines.
If you do one thing, do it right. In the middle of the day or late at night, don't even try it if you can't come through. You say you want chicken? Well, that's what we do.
Now get 15 pieces of chicken, original recipe or extra tasty crispy for just $9.99. The Colonel's secret blend of 11 herbs and spices or that special extra tasty crispy flavor. 15 pieces, just $9.99.
We are KFC. We do chicken right.
Louis knows soccer. Louis knows weights. Louis knows tennis. Louis knows camping. Louis knows.
So I'm not up on every sport, but the Sports Authority is. They've got pros in every department.
The Sports Authority. You've never seen anything quite like it. Louis knows platform diving.
I don't think so. It's where the Panthers have brought home 3 state titles, and where each May brings a new spring festival queen. Yet Abbeville, South Carolina is also a major financial center because it's served by Nations Bank, giving Canfield Dairy the same resources as any national corporation, providing the Thompsons on Turner Street the investments they'd find on Wall Street, and making sure folks don't have to take a back seat to anyone. In Abbeville and 1,900 other communities throughout our nation.
Welcome back to the Don Shula Show. And Coach, you've brought 3 gentlemen who are a vital and integral part of your football team with you. Why don't you introduce us to them?
We got Bryan Cox right here, and I know Bryan. I know Bryan is going to play well in Buffalo. He's got to, Bryan. Tell us about Buffalo. How do you feel about Buffalo?
I hate Buffalo. I hate the wings. I hate the people. I hate the organization. And I'll be ready to go this week.
And we've got our defensive coach, Tom Olivadotti. Tom, welcome to the show. And the Buffalo offense, Tom.
Needless to say, they're a great offensive team, and every year it's a real challenge for us, and we're excited about the competition, and we'll be prepared to give them a good matchup.
Gary Stevens, our offensive coach.
Thank you, Coach, for having me. I appreciate it.
Gary, talk to us about the offense, if you will, for just a second. Your offensive football team, the first week looked very strong in that last drive against the Colts. Things bogged down a bit last week with the offense, especially the running game. What have you been working on this week?
Well, we always work on the running game, and we're going to try to run it. You got to give the Jets credit. They played a great game against us, and they really played hard, and they made plays where we didn't make plays. We had opportunities to put us ahead, which we didn't take advantage of, and we're working on that stuff now. Yeah. We just got to take the advantage of the opportunities that we get.
Sure. Talk to us a bit, if you will, about the Buffalo Bills defense. What do they present? What problems do they show you?
Buffalo has 4 Pro Bowlers on their squad, and with the addition of the 2, they got Maddox and what's the other linebacker in there? Boy,
they got a bunch.
Right. Correct. 4 great linebackers. I just forget. There's so many of them, but they got 4 Pro Bowlers, and their secondary. They got a #1 pick at the other corner. He was a #1 draft choice for them. So they're a great defense. The thing I think that they're doing this year is they're more consistent this year than they have been in the last 4 or 5 years. They're just a consistent defense.
The amazing thing about that defense is they lost 2 inside linebackers that we thought would hurt them. Shane Collin for one, and they come up with 2 other backers that have about 3 years experience that have been great special team players for them. and they're just stepping in and doing an excellent job for them.
They're doing a great job for them. They got great talent. They're a great talent, and you just got to play hard, and you just got to take advantage of every opportunity you get. You got to make them bleed. We got to bleed, and we just got to come out on top.
All right, we'll get back to the Buffalo Bills for just a second, but first, Tom, we've got a little bit of tape talking about your defensive unit. If you could talk about this game against the Colts a couple of weeks ago, trying to get pressure onto a quarterback. What's the thinking of a defensive coach as he's trying to apply pressure on an NFL quarterback?
Well, you have it's only two ways you can go. You can send four and cover with the rest, or you can blitz them and take your chances. And for every man you send in a blitz, that's one more opportunity for them to get a big play on you. And you know, our biggest problem right now has been the push in the pocket. We've got to get more push in the middle of the pocket, and we're going to work on that. And we've got a few things that we feel can help our pass rush. So we're getting prepared to do the best job we possibly can.
It's something that I think fans miss once in a while. If you blitz more people, you provide more opportunity for the big play downfield. And the Buffalo Bills is a team you might not want to do that with.
Well, that's you know, when you're playing a team like the Bills, they can really burn you on a blitz. As a matter of fact, I really believe their offense is geared for teams that do a lot of blitzing because they're always on the move when they're catching the ball. So it's going to be an interesting game for us because we're going to do a few things a little differently.
Tom, don't you feel the key to the ball game is Thurman Thomas? When Thurman Thomas runs with a football, Buffalo has great success offensively. The two times that we beat them in the last 3 years, we've been able to control Thurman Thomas, and it's tough to keep him from running with a football, but he's such a dynamic guy.
He really is, and last year over the 3-game period, we probably did the best job against them running the ball than any team, but that doesn't say that we stopped them. And the thing that scares you about Thurman is that he's only got 3 catches so far this year, so they're going to feature him this game, we think.
Yeah, that is a frightening part of it. If we can, gentlemen, let's look back a little bit in the first couple of football games for the Miami Dolphins. We begin with the running attack and start with a pretty good day for Higgs against the Colts. Gary, tell us about the way you started out running the ball against the Colts.
Well, we felt we could run against them, and you know what you're getting here is Higgins is doing a great job of picking a hole. You know, it's a run to daylight type of play, and he picks the hole, and he's finding it, and we give him room, and he can move, which we didn't do against the Jets. Like right there, see, he finds a nice little seam there, and he gets through it. And that's what we have to have more of. What happened with the Jets is we'd have a seam, but there'd be one breakdown where everyone else is doing good, but there was one breakdown would hurt the whole play. Here we got a whole team executing pretty well.
Myers, we got into the offense there too, which we weren't able to do against the Jets. He ran well against the Colts, and we think that he's going to give us a good runner from the fullback position.
Yeah, we got to get him the ball a few more times a game because he does have some ability, and we got to let him use that to run the football.
He also got the opportunity to get Kirby into the football game a little bit against the Jets, but it was the same kind of an opportunity. He got a couple of yards here, but it was an offensive performance that day in which the Jets were able to make some plays on you.
Well, they got ahead, and we struggled. We only ran with the ball 11 times in the ball game, and 9 times on first down, and we weren't successful. Here's Keith Jackson and making big plays for us, which he's done now. That hurt us when we lost him early in the ball game against the Jets, and we're hoping that he'll be ready to play against Buffalo.
But he does provide you with such a great weapon, does he not, Gary?
Oh, we feel he's the best tight end in the league, and he can beat the little guy and the big guy as well. So he's just a great tight end.
All right, pass down. There he goes again, and we also should say a perfect throw on the part of Danny, Coach.
Great throws, and Dan looks for him down the middle of the field. We get a lot of outside coverage on the outside receivers, and this gives us coverage on Keith Jackson either by a strong safety or by a linebacker, and Keith Jackson wins those battles. Boomer had a lot of time, Brian, to throw the football.
Well, yes, he did. We rushed for a lot of the times, and with a team such as the Jets that keep a lot of people in the block, it's kind of difficult to get pressure, but that's something that we just have to work on, and we can't get frustrated with it.
And they were
Boomer has to be flustered in order to be effective against him.
Well, Boomer, we didn't get enough pressure on him, but he had 3 plays for 128 yards, and it's tough to win a game when you give up that many yards on 3 plays, and kind of distorted the game more than it should have.
Overall, as we look at some of the highlights of the first 2 ball games, when you look back, generally, are you pleased to be where you are at this stage? You always want to be 2-0, obviously, but sometimes in an NFL season that doesn't happen for you.
I think the manner of being 1-1 is what's disturbing to me personally. I was looking for a strong ball game against the Jets, feeling that we came on when we had to come on to win the Colts game, and I wanted that to carry over into the game against the Jets. Be strong all through the ball game, start to establish the kind of football team that I hope that we can be this year, with the new people, to try to be more physical, to try to be able to run with the football, and get these players that have great ability to get their hands on the football to make plays for us, and we weren't able to do that. The Jets dominated us, and that's what leaves a sour taste.
Well, that football game is over. We'll look ahead to the Buffalo Bills and the big game on Sunday at Rich Stadium, where the Don Shula Show continues right after this.
Coach Shula and his guests receive apparel from David Rickey Custom Clothiers for those who excel in business, sports, and entertainment.
Subway steak and cheese sub is easy to eat anywhere. To prove that fact, I'm going to eat my dinner here at the rodeo. No one's ridden rocket launcher for more than 8 seconds, so I'll have to eat fast. But you'll want to take your time to really savor tender steak and cheese on our fresh baked bread. One bite and you'll agree, Subway makes great steak.
The steak and cheese sub at Subway.
Well, at least they get a meal on this flight.
Marlins fans, get this season the first souvenir ball, just $3.99 when you buy any footlong sub, chips, and medium Coke at Subway now.
If this is $300 and these are Chevy trucks, what do you got? Chevy trucks under $300. It's the best truck sale of the year. 4-door Chevy Blazers, $299 per month for 36 months. Full-size pickups, only $229 per month. Chevy trucks last longer, have the best resale value, and best customer satisfaction. So hurry to your South Florida Chevy GOT for the best selection of Chevy trucks under $300.
Those boys from Continental Airlines have gone completely off. First, they come around here inquiring about my peanuts, claim they're going to fly people for peanuts. Now they say I can bring the missus with me for just a penny.
Purchase a Continental Airlines new Peanuts fare round trip, and for a penny more each way, you can bring along a friend. It's called Add a Penny, Add a Pal.
Flying for a penny? Those boys have been spending too much time up in that thin air.
Add a penny, add a pal, only with Continental Peanuts fares.
Welcome back to the Don Shula Show. The coach has brought Bryan Cox, Tom Olivadotti, and Gary Stevens with him here this evening, and we appreciate you all coming in. Bryan, let's talk about that. Coach was kidding around a little bit earlier. He asked you about your comments about Buffalo. You made some statements last week. Has there been any repercussions from the people of Buffalo? Any letters, any calls?
No, I really haven't, and that's something that's, I'm not looking forward to. I'm just telling my true feelings. I really respect them as players, but as people, I don't think very much of them. And, they have some of the best talent up there, and if you don't respect that, then you're some kind of idiot. So I'm putting the pressure on myself. I'm looking forward to going in here playing. I haven't had a bad game against these guys yet, and I don't think I'm going to have one anytime soon. So I'm looking forward to the challenge of this week's game.
Yeah, Tom Olivadotti, you've been around a lot of young men, played a lot of good football. Bryan has been one of the best who's come around here for a long time. What's your reaction as a coach when you see somebody step on the field and back up their words like Bryan does?
Well, they're just words, and Bryan has, in the past, has backed up what he's said. The thing is that as long as you understand that the opponent that you're playing is a very good opponent, as long as you respect their abilities as players, you don't have a problem, because they're out there. They're going to play. They're not going to play any different. They're going to play as hard as they always play, and we're going to play as hard as we can possibly play, and let the chips fall where they may.
That's what it comes down to, isn't it, Coach?
Well, you always hear stories about putting clippings up on a locker room. I don't think that our football teams have ever won any games because of clippings.
That's the truth, yeah.
And coaches that put clippings up will talk about the clippings that really gave their team motivation in games that they've won. But those clippings have been up there on other games where they didn't win, and they didn't mean anything. It really boils down to two teams knowing how important the game is and what it means to each and every individual, and going out and playing the best football that you can play. And hopefully our team will prevail. You know, we just have to come out of Buffalo with a win, and we realize that going into the ball game. We have to go up there and play well. It's a tough situation to win in, but last year we proved that we can win in that kind of an environment.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Gary, going up there and winning at Rich Stadium a year ago, does that provide any more confidence for your players and for the coaching staff?
Well, no, you know, our players are confident. They feel they can go up there and repeat what they did last year and win, and I don't think that has anything to do with it. The thing we have to do is just go up there, and we got to concentrate and just make the plays that we're capable of making, and then we'll come out on top.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Let's take a look back at the Buffalo Bills, the week off for the Miami Dolphins, and see what they had to say during this week of relaxation.
From the cobblestone streets of Costa Rica to the business centers of Brazil, American Airlines is opening doors all over Latin America. For business or pleasure, the best way to 22 cities in Latin America is right through this door. American Airlines.
You know, I'm an old-fashioned guy. I believe in giving people more for their money. So not only is everything on Wendy's Super Value menu 99 cents each, but now you can get our country fried steak sandwich. It's delicious and just 99 cents. Great with biggie fries, or try our chili or Caesar side salad. You can only get them at Wendy's. You don't pay more, you just get more. And that's the truth.
Try the country fried steak sandwich on Wendy's 99-cent Super Value menu.
Mike, you're the #1 GM dealer in the universe, the #1 Isuzu dealer in the South, the #1 Dodge dealer in the South, and you're the #1 custom van dealer in Florida. How do you do that?
Well, basically, it boils down to making a total commitment to satisfying the customer. It's just like football. If the Dolphins switched to the wishbone offense, you'd sacrifice your body to win, right?
Wishbone?
The Marooney Auto Plaza, Pines Boulevard, just west of University.
I have some problems with my knees, and
then the whole team will be real proud of you.
Wishbone.
Hey, you on the couch, sports nut. You call this sports coverage? I got your big sports coverage. It's called the Sports Authority, and they cover more sports than a satellite dish, and can save you enough money so you can afford one. Oh, jeez, it's the wave.
The Sports Authority. You've never seen anything quite like it.
The Tom Shula Show has been brought to you by the Sports Authority. You've never seen anything quite like it. And by American Airlines, something special in the air.
Welcome back to Don Shula's All-Star Cafe. And, Coach, it's been a week off for you, a couple of days of rest and relaxation. We snuck a camera into the locker room. Talked to some of the players about how they felt to get 7 days off. When Miami plays Buffalo, both the Dolphins and their fans can't wait for the game. But that's exactly what they've had to do. Miami and Buffalo both had the week off as a result of the NFL scheduling procedure. The situation was made even worse after last week's lackluster performance against the Jets. So the Dolphins can't wait for their shot at redemption.
We want to get back out there and get back into it. And, we're all disappointed in our performance last Sunday. And we know that, we can play a lot better than that. We just, we're anxious to get back out there and prove that we can play.
We can't wait because we didn't put on a good showing the last time we were on the field. So we're pretty anxious, and we're going to play a good team. And, Buffalo's given us a lot of trouble in the past, so we're looking forward to it because they have a great team.
This year's Dolphin team is markedly different from the 1992 version. Last year, there were no lofty expectations. Then the surprise season started with a 6-game winning streak, and it didn't end until the AFC Championship game. This year, many people picked the Dolphins as the team to beat in the AFC. Early indications show those people may have been wrong, but the Dolphins are quick to remind that 2 games do not a season make.
We're not a 6-0 team like we were last year, but if we can handle the adverse conditions early and be able to overcome them, I think it'll just make us a better team. And a lot more games left, and I'm sure we're going to have some stumbling blocks along the way, but I definitely think the talent's here and the positive attitude's here, and we're just going to perpetuate that in the next game.
It may be too early to call this a must-win, but this game could be a harbinger of things to come. Last year's romp in Rich Stadium may have been the biggest step the Dolphins took toward regaining supremacy in the AFC East. Next Sunday has all the makings of a make-or-break game. Add to it the Buffalo Bills.
This is a team that we're always anxious to play. Since I guess the last 10 division championships has gone to one or the other. These games against Buffalo, they mean a lot.
The Bills are still very hungry, and they're still one of the better teams in the AFC, and we'll have a handful.
One advantage this year's Dolphins have over last year's squad is the confidence they can win in Buffalo. But that was last year. What's past is past.
Every game is a new game. Every game is new. It starts over. It's a different title. You got to go and play it again. To know that we can win up there and we have win up there, it may give you a little more confidence. But the fact is that we got to go up there and prove it, because this is a Buffalo team that's probably frustrated just like we are, but their frustration is a lot bigger, and they want to prove to everybody that they can get back there and win the big game, and we got to spoil that.
Well, there's one thing for certain, Coach. The Miami Dolphins and Buffalo Bills know each other extremely well.
This is one of the toughest rivalries in the National Football League, no question about that. We beat them bad for a lot of years, and in recent years we've had a tough time against them, especially up there. And then last year everything came together and we played a great football game. So we won the home field advantage, didn't take advantage of the home field advantage to get us into the Super Bowl, but we just feel that this is going to be our year, and we are capable of being a better football team than Buffalo. Buffalo hasn't done well in their 3 Super Bowl appearances, and we hope that we get a shot.
Yeah. All right. We have a gentleman in our audience here at Don Shula's All-Star Cafe that has a question for the coach. Sir, your question?
Coach Shula, why don't we have more trick plays for Buffalo this time?
Well, you don't know that you don't now, do you? The game hasn't been played.
Well, we've got a lot of trick plays. The key is picking them out and using them at the right time. And you just don't go out there and use a trick play and hope that it's successful. You got to set it up, and you've got to be able to generate some kind of an offense, and then pick the spot. And then in the past, we've had flea flickers, we've had reverses that have worked. And if there is that right time, we hope that we've got the right trick play for it.
Yeah, I seem to remember a hook and lateral that worked once upon a time in the Orange Bowl.
That was probably the most famous trick play of all time, and it came at the right time, and the people never sat down, and that got us back into the ball game against San Diego.
That's
Great
right,
play.
and that's exactly the thought of it. As we go into this game with the Buffalo Bills now, Coach, your final thoughts in the last 30 seconds or so about this football game?
Well, again, it's just so important, and they're healthy. Bruce Smith's in the best shape that he's been in. Cornelius Bennett, Kelly, their offense, Thurman Thomas, and this is a team that's loaded, but we feel that we're loaded too, and we got to start proving that we are a good football team, and there's no better chance to do that, opportunity to do it, than at Buffalo this Sunday.
All right, Coach, the best of luck against the Bills at Rich Stadium. We look forward to the football game. We look forward to seeing you again Monday night. That'll do it for the Don Shula Show. Stay tuned. Monday Night Football is up next. It's Denver at Kansas City. So long, everybody.
Don Shula and his guests receive gift certificates from Carroll's, the fine jeweler South Florida relies on for quality, service, and integrity. The Don Shula Show is a production of the Tinsley Sports Network, a division of Tinsley Advertising.
America loves a winner. The 93 Ford Thunderbird LX, the best-selling car in its class, is taking on the competition and winning. Now priced $4,000 less than last year's model at only $16,392. Loaded with value features like air, AM/FM stereo cassette, power windows, automatic power driver seat, cast aluminum wheels, and more. All for $4,000 less than last year's model. Drive home an all-American winner from your South Florida Ford dealer today.
Ford, the best never rests.
I like going through changes. I'm down for variety. So it's nice that Mickey D's now offers a burger of the month. Each month a different, delicious burger.
This month, try the Double Deluxe. 2 all beef patties, shredded lettuce, tomato, zesty red onion, mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, and pickles. It's a Double Deluxe taste for just 99 cents.
Yo, it's me. Now, next month, we can look forward to a different burger taste. Now, that's happening. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
A customer is trying to send you a fax. Another one is trying to call you. Which one do you choose? Both. With an additional Southern Bell business line.